Hi, how are you doing? In this video, we are going to discuss analytic functions. If you have not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button down below and remember to share my videos to all engineering students. Also, watch my videos online because that will help my channel to grow. Remember, in the previous video, we discussed a function of complex variable, and we said a function of complex variable can be expressed as w is equal to a function of z, which is equal to u plus jv. This function z equal to u plus jv can be said to be analytic if function of z, the first derivative of function of z, which is equal to partial derivative of u with respect to x plus j partial derivative of v with respect to x, which is also equal to negative j partial derivative of u with respect to y plus partial derivative of v with respect to y exists. So the conditions for the function to be analytic is that the derivative exists and also the partial derivative of u with respect to x to be equal to the partial derivative of v with respect to y and partial derivative of v with respect to x to be equal to negative partial derivative of u with respect to y. So this condition 1 for function of z to be analytic and condition 2 for the function of z to be analytic are called the Cauchy-Riemann equations, or simply the CR equations. Remember, we are saying the condition for function z to be analytic is 1, the derivative to exist, and 1, this be equal to this, and 2, this be equal to this. And these two equations, we are calling them the Cauchy-Riemann equations. A lot of time you'll be told to determine if whether a certain function is analytic. In that case, you should be able to find the four partial derivatives and to equate these two partial derivatives. If these two partial derivatives, if these partial derivatives are equal and also these partial derivatives are equal, then that function will be analytic. We are going to start by trying 3 examples from textbooks, and then after that we'll try a few examples from the national examination. In our first example, we are told to show that the function fz is equal to exponential z satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equation, and that the first order derivative of exponential z with respect to z is equal to exponential z. Of course, you already know that if you differentiate x with respect to x, it will give you exponential x. Or if you differentiate exponential z with respect to z, it will be exponential z. That is, the derivative of the exponential function is exponential z, or the exponential function, when it's differentiated, it remains just the same. Notice here I'm using the symbol. This one should be the symbol for complete derivative. Notice this is the symbol for complete derivative. It's not the symbol for partial derivative. Forgot to switch my video, right? This is that so that we can have more light. So we are told to show that this function is analytic. We have our function of complex variable f of z is equal to exponential z. We want to prove whether it is analytic or whether the partial derivatives that we called the CR equations will balance. And in that case, we must be able to get the value of u and the value of v. We can say that z is equal to x plus jy, because we already know the complex variable is expressed as such. So you can say function z is equal to exponential x plus jy. You did indices in first year. First year work is very important for higher levels. So in this case, we have it in this form: a to the power n plus n. So we should express it in this form: exponential x plus jy. You can also say this is exponential x times, I don't represent multiplication, but then use the multiplication sign, exponential jy. Or simply, this is exponential x times exponential jy. This is first year work. Also in second year, I think for all diploma courses, engineering, electrical, mechanical, I'm not sure whether she will do complex numbers, I'll check. But at least I know for mechanical engineering and electrical, they did complex numbers in first year and they also did hyperbolic functions. You must have discussed a calculus equation, which is exponential I beta is equal to cos beta plus, I'm using the symbol, the complex value j, let me use j sin beta. Exponential j beta is equal to cos beta plus j sin beta. So it means, using the calculus equation, but exponential jy is equal to cosine of y plus j sin y. You must have encountered this equation at some point in your lower levels. Now you can say function z is equal to exponential x times exponential jy, which is cosine of y plus j sin y. Now you can say function z is equal to exponential x cosine of y plus exponential, maybe I should start with j. I always like starting with j exponential x sin y. Also remember that function z is equal to u plus jv, where u is a function of x and y and v is a function of x and y. But you don't have to keep on saying so. So we simply say here function z is u plus jv, which is equal to exponential x cos y plus j exponential x exponential x sin y. Equating real and imaginary part on both sides. Equating real and imaginary parts on both sides of the equation. Equation will be u is equal to what? U is real, equated in the real part. U is equal to exponential x cos y and v is equal to, with the imaginary part, exponential x sin y. Now we have managed to get the value of u and the value of v. we should now go ahead and get the value of the four partial derivatives. The four partial derivatives are differentiate u with respect to x and also with respect to y, the partial derivatives. Differentiate v, or find the partial derivative of v first with respect to x and then with respect to y. Let us start with this one. We get the partial derivative of u with respect to x. Differentiate this with respect to x. So in this case, you treat y as a constant. Y is a constant, and differentiate the part that has x. Differentiating exponential x still remains exponential x times the constant cos y. Cos y is a constant in this case. Let us find the derivative of u now, this time down with respect to y. When you are finding the derivative with respect to y, the partial derivative with respect to y, x is a constant. So the whole of exponential x will be a constant, but cosine of y will be the variable, or y will be the variable. So cos y will be changing. Exponential x will just mean exponential x. Nothing to worry about that one. But when you differentiate the cosine function, you get negative sign. So here you have a negative sine y. Differentiating the cosine function will give you a negative sign. This side we are dealing with u, partial derivative of u. This side, let us get the partial derivative of v. First with respect to x and then with respect to y. This derivative means here y is a constant, so the whole of sine y is a constant. We are differentiating with respect to x, so we expect where we have x. We concentrate on where we have x. We differentiate the exponential, we just mean exponential x. Sine we are not differentiating it, we are treating it as a constant. Then in the next step, we differentiate v, find the partial derivative of v with respect to y. In this case, x will be treated as a constant, and you differentiate where you have y. Differentiating sine y will give you a positive cosine. So it will be exponential x, because this one is not changing, you are not differentiating it, cosine of y. Let us restate the Cauchy-Riemann's equation and try to see whether it will balance. The CR equations are the CR or Cauchy-Riemann CR equations are, what are the CR equations? R1, partial derivative of u with respect to x is equal to partial derivative of v with respect to y. This is the first one. And partial derivative of v with respect to x is equal to negative partial derivative of u with respect to y. This is the second one. Let us see whether it is the case. Whatever you have here is satisfying the Cauchy-Riemann's equations. So we want to prove the first example. What is partial derivative of u with respect to x? Partial derivative of u with respect to x. Let me first of all write the equations. If here I write partial derivative of u, that is that. Partial derivative of u with respect to x, I want it to be equal to partial derivative of v with respect to y. Is it the case? Let us see. Partial derivative of u with respect to x is that exponential x cosine of y. partial derivative of v with respect to y. Why is it? Partial derivative of v with respect to y. It's again exponential x cos y. So you can see the first Cauchy-Riemann equation is being satisfied. This one, because the two sides are equal. Let us take the second Cauchy-Riemann equation. It is equation 1. Partial derivative of v with respect to x is equal to negative partial derivative of v with respect to y. Let us see whether that one will be true. Partial derivative of v with respect to x is exponential x sin y should be equal to a negative times partial derivative of v with respect to y. Why is partial derivative of u? Partial derivative of u with respect to y is negative. So there is another negative. Negative is negative. Exponential x sin y. You can see here exponential x sin y is equal to positive exponential x when you multiply the two negatives sin y. We can see both Cauchy-Riemann equations have been satisfied, and therefore we can conclude both CR equation have been satisfied. Therefore, function z equal to exponential z is analytic. Function z equal to exponential z is analytic. Let us in the next step we should prove. This question has also another part. Whereby you are supposed to show that the first order derivative of exponential z with respect to z is equal to exponential z. Notice this one is a complete derivative. There is difference between this symbol and this symbol. A lot of time when I've given the students some work on the whiteboard and they are supposed to transfer what I've written on the whiteboard to their exercise books, they usually, where I've used this symbol, they usually use this one. Or probably I have used this one, they use this one. They do not realize the two symbols have different meaning. This one is for complete derivative. Here is when you have a function of one variable. This is for partial derivatives, where you have a function of two or more variables. So there is a difference between this symbol, which is for complete derivative, and this symbol, which is for partial derivative. So let us prove whether this is the case. We know that this, then from your calculus, as here work, because we know that our function of z, fz, is equal to exponential z. Its derivative, we can express it in the following ways. We can say function of z, the first order derivative of the function of z is equal to this. Differentiate exponential z with respect to z, which will simply give you exponential z. Or derivatives You also express them by using this prime, the prime symbol. If there are 2 here, it means second order derivative. If there are 3, it means third order derivative. But this one, the first order derivative of the function of z, you can also express it as derivative of exponential z with respect to z, which is equal to this. Let us see whether it is the case. You have been told to show whether it is true. But earlier we said the derivative of the function of z is partial derivative of u with respect to x plus j partial derivative of v with respect to x, which is equal to negative partial derivative of u with respect is also equal to negative j partial derivative of u with respect to y plus partial derivative of v with respect to y. This is what gives us our Cauchy-Riemann equation. To prove whether partial derivative exists, we can use just one of them. We can use this or this, whichever you want to use. But for purpose of this example, let us just use this one. So let us remove this. Suppose you can use either. Which means now our function z, our first derivative of function z is equal to partial derivative of u with respect to x, which is what? X exponential x cos y plus j partial derivative of v with respect to x. Partial derivative of v with respect to x is exponential x sin y. Let us factor out the exponential. It is exponential x cos y plus j sin y. And again, using the Cauchy-Riemann equation, this one you should notice exponential x cos y plus j sin y, you should notice it is exponential j y. Exponential j y. From this equation, what we did earlier, exponential j theta is equal to sin theta, not sin bar cosine theta, plus j sin theta. Here, it is in this format. We want now to express it in this format, which is exponential j y. Again, from your indices, exponential x times exponential jy, they have the same base. You can use the rules of indices and say it's x plus j y. So finally you can say function, the first derivative of z, which is partial derivative of exponential z with respect to z. This one, exponential x plus jy, notice x plus jy is z. X plus jy is z. So you can simply say now it is exponential z. Therefore, we have proved that one, function of exponential z is analytic, and secondly, we have proved that the first order derivative of exponential z with respect to z is exponential z. We are now going to do our second example. In this example, we are told to test the analyticity of the function w is equal to sin z, and hence we show that derivative of sin z with respect to z is equal to cosine of z. So here we say we know that our function z, or we know that w is equal to the function z, is equal to u plus jv. It's good to know these three forms because you'll be required to equate either two of them. at least two of them equate them. So our function of z, which is w in this case, function z, is equal to sine z. But we know z is equal to x plus jy. So you can say function z is equal to sine bracket x plus jy. Because from your work in trigonometry, again, notice how I keep on referring to first year work. They have talked of indices and logarithm, I've talked of complex numbers, I've talked of hyperbolic functions, and so on. From your early work in trigonometry, you must have been told because that sine of a plus b is equal to sine a cos b plus or minus sine b cosine of a. Therefore, you can say our function z, which is equal to sine of x plus jy is equal to, using this trigonometric identity, sin x, we start with sine, or we can start with sine or cosine, whichever. Multiplication is commutative. Does not matter which one you start with. If it's plus here, it will be plus. If it's negative, it will be negative. You can start with either. You can start with cosine or sine, because multiplication is commutative. Order of arrangement will not matter. You can also start with this one or this one. Here, order does not matter. In case I have not put it in the most convenient form, I'll rearrange. I'm not sure if I'll put it in the most convenient form for us in this case. So sin x, here you have cosine of iy or jy plus, because here it is plus, here it will be plus sine. In this case, use sine with x, now use with jy, then cosine with x, cosine of x. Again, because you are first year work, hyperbolic functions, you must have been told cosine of jy cosine of jy is equal to the hyperbolic cosine cos y and sine of jy is equal to the hyperbolic sine, that is j sin y. Sometimes I might use I instead of j, though it's because in textbooks either of them is used to represent the imaginary version. Sometimes I use j, sometimes I use I. The same case applies to textbooks. You find one textbook using j to represent an imaginary value, and another textbook using I to represent an imaginary value. I might interchange at some point. So when I interchange, notice there is no difference. Now, we can substitute cos jy with cos y. We can substitute sin jy with j sin y. Now we can say function of z is equal to, let me skip this one. This one I don't like it, but instead I like this one. Because the three of them are equal, I have the liberty to equate this one and this one. I remove this one. It is function of z is equal to what? I start with sin x, where I have cos jy, I put cos cos y plus where I have sin jy, I put j sin, not sin but sin y, or the hyperbolic cosine, multiplied by cosine of x. So, okay, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get values of u and v. Try to separate the u and v. You can now say function of z is equal to what? U plus jv. U plus jv is equal to, I've introduced the u plus jv. Let me write using green. Sin x cos y plus j sin y cos x. Today is very cold. July, very cold near Mount Kenya. So now we have substituted here. Equate real and imaginary parts. Equating real and imaginary parts. On both sides of the equations. On both sides of the equation. That is, equate real to real and imaginary to imaginary. Now we can equate u with sin x cos y and v, we can equate it with v j sin y cos x, not cos, is cos x. We can now find the four partial derivatives. Let us find the four partial derivatives so that we can equate them in the Cauchy-Riemann equations. The first partial derivative, subdivide here. The first partial derivative is partial derivative of u with respect to x will be equal to what? Here, y is a constant, so we are not differentiating this part. We focus our differentiation on this portion. If you differentiate the sine function, you get positive cosine. So differentiate sin x to be cos x. You are not differentiating this because it's a constant. Cos y find the partial derivative of u with respect to y. In this case, you are treating the part with x as a constant. The part with y is where we focus our differentiation. Here, when you have y, when you are differentiating partial derivative with respect to y. So that one, the sign will remain the same. The sin x will remain the same. We are not differentiating there. But when you are differentiating the part with y, differentiating cos, it will give you sin y. Now I'll differentiate here. If you find the partial derivative of the function z, what function? Partial derivative of v with respect to, first let us differentiate with respect to x. If you differentiate with respect to x, it will be, see the variable of differentiation is x. So this is where we are concentrating our differentiation, where we have variable x. When you differentiate the cosine function, you will get negative sign. So it is negative, so we have a negative. Let me write this one, then I get sin x. J sin y sin x. Now I find derivative, partial derivative with respect to y. Partial derivative with respect to y is, when you differentiate this one to be j y is the variable in consideration. So you concentrate on differentiation while you have variable y. If you differentiate shine, you get positive cos y. Cosine is not being differentiated. So you just say cos x. Cos x. What are our Cauchy-Riemann equations? The first Cauchy-Riemann equation is that partial derivative of u with respect to x is equal to partial derivative of v with respect to x. Partial derivative of v with respect to x. Made a mistake in equating. This j should not be there because this j here and the j here, they will cancel out. This j and this j, when you are equating, they will cancel out, which means I will not have this j here, I will not have the j, and I will not have the j. I hope you have noticed that mistake I made. Make sure you take your time to correct it when you are watching the video. Now, we equate the partial derivatives. The first partial derivative is partial derivative of u with respect to x. It is cos x cos y, this one, must be equal to this. What is value of this over there? It is partial derivative, this one. It is cos y cosine of x. But we can rearrange. We can start with cosine of x. Cos x multiplied by cos y. Cos y. Multiplication, when you are multiplying, there is no problem when you change the order of multiplication. That's why I'm able to interchange. I'm trying to make it look like more unique or more uniform. The second Cauchy-Riemann equation is partial derivative of v with respect to x is equal to negative partial derivative of u with respect to y. Let us equate. Let us equate the same. What is the partial derivative of v with respect to x? This one, negative sin y sin x is equal to partial derivative. See this negative here? Let us write it. This one, negative partial derivative of u with respect to y. Where is it? Partial derivative of u with respect to y. Again, for the sake of uniformity, let me start with this one. Sin y sin x. These positives, these negatives, the negative and the negative you cancel out. So that at the end of the day, you have hyperbolic sin y is equal to, hyperbolic sin y times sin x is equal to hyperbolic sin y times sin x. So both one, we have noticed the four partial derivatives exist. That is these four partial derivatives, they exist. Two, the Cauchy-Riemann equation are being satisfied, or the two sides are equating, and therefore you can say function z, function w is equal to sin z is analytic. Conclusion is the two CR equation are satisfied. Therefore, W is equal to sin z is analytic. W is equal to sin Z is analytic. We had been told to test analyticity of W is equal to sin Z. Let us move to the second part of the question. The second part of the question we have been told that show that W derivative of sin Z with respect to Z is equal to cosine of Z. So solution. I think nowadays we should be calling this one Z, not Z. With the new calligram, you can try to pronounce it the way the European and American pronounce it. Z. We now say, see, because function Z is equal to sin Z. That is, this is our W, which is equal to function Z is equal to sin Z. If you have to differentiate this, the first derivative, you can also express it as sin Z with respect to Z. You can express it using any of these two formats. But recall what we said earlier. Derivative of function Z is equal to partial, let me write this one with a different color. It might be U. Derivative of function Z is equal to partial derivative of U with respect to X plus J partial derivative of U with respect to Y. So partial derivative of U with respect to Y, which can also be said to be negative partial derivative of U with respect to Y plus, here there is a J, plus partial derivative of V with respect to Y. You can use either of these two. I'm used to using the first one. Let's just use it. So, remember here, this hyperbolic cos y, hyperbolic cosine of y, we can change it back to trigonometric function. J sin y, hyperbolic sine of y, we can change back to trigonometric. So this is, changing this one to trigonometric will be cos y is equal to cos jy. Changing this one to trigonometric is j sin y is sin jy. Can change back to trigonometric. So that now the function z, fz, becomes cos x cos jy minus here j sin y is sin jy, and here still have the sin x. J sin y is sin jy, the j here. Then sin x. Recall from trigonometry, again, area arc inverse is very important for higher levels. Here we are talking of hyperbolic trigonometry. So you have to remember those topics, hyperbolic functions, trigonometric functions, and so on. You said earlier that cos of A plus or minus B is equal to cosine of A, cosine of B. If the sign was positive, it will change to negative. If the sign was negative, it will change to positive. Then sin A, sin B. The trigonometric identity. Let us use that trigonometric identity in the next step. We write now a function of z, but we make those changes in the trigonometric function. Function z now becomes cos x cos jy cos jy minus I can start with because I'm starting with x. Let me again start with x just for uniformity. Sin x, sin jy. I'm only doing it for uniformity. You see, cos A sin A, cos B sin B, just for that uniformity. But you can just have it like this. There's no problem. This one, you see, AB, sin, sin. It agrees with this one. That is AB. Our A is x. Our B is jy. If the sign is negative, it becomes positive. If the sign is positive, it becomes negative. Now we want to represent this in this format. It will be cosine of x is A, sign is negative, it becomes positive. jy is B. So you can finally say our A is x and our B is jy. This is jy. So that you can finally say function z. Let us not write this one. Down of this one. Let us not write it. Simply say it's the other one. Cos x plus jy. But x plus jy is z. So this one becomes z or z according to the new syllabus in German. So function z now here, remember we had said derivative. Remember we had said the derivative of function z is equal to derivative of sin z with respect to z, which now becomes, see, derivative of function of z is cos z, which is cos z. So we have proved that derivative of sin z with respect to z is equal to cosine of z. The next one, we try to can make it to be an exercise. Regarding whether the function of z is analytic or not. So what you are going to do, you are going to pause this video, do this one, and then you check the result.